Hello, welcome back to the Canon Rant series, and today Fidel demands that I take over this week since he's currently busy with a lot of hiding from due to college work. He's 45 fucking years old and still has AGDD and a film to finish. Here's some behind the scenes footage for proof.
So, behind the scenes, Fidel Alcazar. Pakilala ka.
My name is Fidel Alcazar. Look at this cake. Oh fuck!
What the fuck, bro?
Anyways, I have a story to tell you all about if you haven't heard of it before. It's about the medieval history of Switzerland. Fidel says that the Swiss were neutral because of their history of being so fucking brutal in combat that they were, and still probably are, more terrifying than weasels ripping your flesh. In the early days of 1291, the cantons of Schwyz, Unterwalde and Uri, formed as an alliance of loose states in the Central Alps to ensure free trade and peace through the mountains. They were claimed as part of the Holy Roman Empire's territory but nonetheless gained autonomy via freedom letters from former Habsburg emperors as long as the confederates recognized the emperor as their ruler. Similar to how the city of London had their rights recognized by William the Conqueror as long as they recognize William as their king. The Swiss confederates fear that Habsburg emperors of the time will try to annex their lands, and their fears came true. Frederick the fucking fake Handuglebutt claims to be Handsome's brother Leopold I of Austria was sent to kill off the rebelling Swiss who raided a Habsburg-protected monastery in Schwyz due to a random dispute about access to pastures. Around a few thousand Austrian knights were sent to end the revolt, as a sign of chivalry or utter pity and shame of expecting a quick and easy victory from a bunch of Swiss tribes. A Habsburg knight named Henry Hueberg shot an arrow with a message tied on it stating that their army will march through Morgart Pass and that the Swiss rebels should run the fuck away and weep in a fetal position begging for mercy from the Habsburgs. Instead, the Swiss prepared a roadblock on Morgart Pass, which is sandwiched by a steep hill and the Lake Agerai. When the Austrian knights marched down the path and were halted by the roadblock, the Swiss confederates threw at them logs, boulders and pelted them with fucking arrows from above. The knights had no room to defend themselves and were utterly vanquished, and because the Swiss were unaware of chivalry and ransom, they brutally butchered every single motherfucking knight that are still breathing in their territory. In fact, some preferred to commit suicide via jumping into the lake than be hacked limb to limb by a bunch of angry brutal farmers with halberds. After the massacre of Morgart, in March 1316, Emperor Louis confirmed the rights of the forest cantons, and as tension between Leopold and the Confederates rose, so did the growth of the Swiss Confederacy, as Bern officially allied with the Swiss, and other cantons such as Zurich and Lucerne would soon join in as well to unite under one banner, the Swiss Cross, to protect themselves from the Holy of the Habsburgs. In the Battle of Sempach, Leopold III's massive number of pikemen lost to 1,000 or more Swiss infantry when some of them began grabbing the Austrian pikes and letting their men from behind rush in to give the Austrians a good old smack to the face with a halberd. More battles ensure, and they win nearly every single fight through guerrilla warfare and sheer brutality, although there were plenty of other wars against different to-be cantons of the Swiss Confederacy as well. The Battle of St. Harbin-Derbys proved to become the Thermopylae of Switzerland when around 1,000 or so young Swiss pikemen charged, yes I said charged, against over 30,000 French soldiers armed with crossbows and pike. Accounts of how the Swiss still brutally fought on even after losing several fucking limbs and having crossbow bolts stuck on their heads and only staying alive due to their crucible steel testicles secreting their own steroids were written by Pope Pius II. The Pope who wrote pornography before turning into a bishop. After the French won the fucking battle, they heard reports of 30,000 Swiss pikemen waiting for them in Zurich. The French lost over 2,000 heavily armored soldiers from a mere 1,500 male teens with very long pointed sticks, so fighting against grown, burly adults also armed with very long sticks ended up being extremely scary, and so they said fuck it and wrote a peace treaty with the Swiss called the Pact of Essachine. An earlier battle, the Battle of Arbadou, was a defeat for the Confederates from Milan, basically modern-day Italy. But in early 1500 the canton of Belitzer ended up starting a revolt against the French and became a part of the Swiss Confederacy whilst seeking protection from the French, which reminds me of the Battle of Guerrico that happened in 1478, which became a victory for the 600 Swiss against 10,000 fucking Milanese troops. Afterwards in 1487 at the Battle of Crevola the Swiss lost again, but probably because Schwyz or Unterwalde wasn't involved. While Fidel is studying this battle, he can't help but question the authenticity of peasants just walking up to a Swiss corpse, cut his fingers off and use them as blick for their hats. The Swiss maintained independence and kept many other nations out of their hands until Napoleon fucking epic as shit Bonaparte came in with his army and took over the Confederacy and established the Helvetic Republic, which died not as soon as that baby who was eaten by a dingo or John Tyler's presidency but sooner than Fidel's potty training. I mean, I'm just kidding. After the Republic and the 12-year-long Act of Mediation, the Confederacy reformed and became modern Switzerland after 33 years of fixing their shit up. In modern times, the Swiss still keep this neutral and independent philosophy to extreme levels. According to various sources, mountains have bombs planted to trigger avalanches down into paths, boulders, farmhouses and cute-looking cottages are reinforced bunkers with artillery cannons and machine gun nests. Every Swiss citizen, women included, is forced to have compulsory military service even if 20% of them are unfit for military or civil service, therefore granting them with a free assault rifle and ammunition, which also encourages shooting clubs in firing ranges. In fact, in 2013 a referendum that aims to abolish conscription in Switzerland met with huge opposition, about 73% of the people voting against the referendum. Anyways, thousands of bombs are planted in multiple highways, railway track, bridge and dirt path in order to stop any army from marching through Swiss soil. If you decide to nuke the country, then good fucking luck, because nearly every single Swiss household is required to have at least one bomb shelter to house gas masks, food rations, ammunition, and possible refugees. Mountain ranges have huge shelters for whole armies to hide inside, and basically it's at this point that Switzerland made it clear that they really don't want to be invaded at all and is not worth invading. In conclusion, the Swiss are badass. They are neutral not because they are a bunch of pussies but because they will kill any hostile motherfucker who tries to take their lands. At this point Switzerland is like that cute but shy little girl under the tree from your local park who draws silly stick me with her coloring book that you just don't want to fuck with cause she's packed with grenades, carries a lot of machine guns and knows Krav Maga and will show no mercy at stabbing your neck repeatedly with a halberd if you dare try to take her lunch money. So remember kids, eat your fondue before buying a Patek Philippe watch and your very own assault rifle, and we'll see you next week.
As you can see here, the ingredients are complete. You will need egg, milk, and butter, and of course, bread, white bread, slices of bread. So anyways, first you break the egg,